Welcome back, children. Once again, this is Ansu here. Today we are going to discuss the second part of formatting in MS Word. Today we are going to talk about three things, that is setting page margins, page orientation and paragraph formatting. Setting page margins. When you enter text in a blank document, you will see blank spaces around the four sides of the page. These blank spaces between the text and the edge of the page are known as margins. That is, when you take a text document and you type on it, there will be a certain space in all the four sides, and you're writing in the middle of it. So these blank spaces are called margins. MS Word allows you to set four types of margins, that is top, bottom, left and right. That is, you have margins on the top, bottom, left of the page as well as the right of the page. The top and bottom margins of the paper are the vertical margins, whereas the left and right margins are the horizontal margins. Top and bottom will be the vertical margins and left and right will be your horizontal margins. The default margins are 1 inch from the top and bottom and 1 inch from the left and right. We can change the page margins if needed. That is, if you take a Word document as it is, you can see that there is a 1 inch space on all the four sides. But then that is the default value. You can change it into other forms too. Steps to change the page margins. What are the different steps to change the page margins? Open the document in which you want to modify the margin. That is, you have to first open your Word document in which you need to change the size of the margins. Then you have to go to Page Layout tab. From the Page Layout tab, you have to look for the Margins group. In the Page Layout tab, you have to look for the Margins icon. And then click the Custom Margins option. The Page Setup dialog box appears. Under the margins, top, bottom, left and right spin boxes, select the required value. That is, when you take the page setup, you can find four boxes which suggest the top, bottom, left and right. In that, you can click on the up and down arrows and increase the size of the margins as per your requirements. From the Apply to drop down list, select the required option and click OK and save the document. You have to remember, after doing all these steps, you need to save the document, otherwise it will go back to the default one which was already there, that is 1 inch margins on all four sides. So it's simple. You take out your document which you need to change the size of the margins, go to the Page Layout tab, then go to the Margins icon area. In that, you have to click on the Customs Margins, and then the Page Setup dialog box comes. In that, you have to spin the arrows up and down to get the values correct for the top, bottom, left and right boxes. Then you have to go for the Apply to option and then click OK. Next is page orientation. Page orientation is how your page will look like. When you take an A4 paper, if you hold it straight, it is called the portrait view. It is called the portrait view. And if you are just rotating it, you will get the landscape view. So there are two types of page orientation, that is portrait and landscape. Now we are using a landscape view for this PPT. We are not using the portrait one. However, if you want to see a portrait, this page orientation is a portrait view, while the whole page is in a landscape view. Page orientation is the direction in which your document is displayed or printed. The two types of page orientation are landscape and portrait. The default setting of the paper is portrait, that displays your page in a vertical manner. It displays your page in the vertical manner in a portrait, and it is the default view in Word. The landscape orientation displays the page in a horizontal order. This is a horizontal order representation, so this presentation is in a horizontal order or a landscape view. Now, steps to change the page orientation. you have to open the document first, then click the Page Layout tab. From the Page Setup group, you have to click the Launcher. The Page Setup dialog box comes up, and there under that you have the Orientation. You have to click on Orientation, then click the orientation that you want. If it is portrait and you want to convert it into landscape, click on the Landscape button, then click OK and save the document. Your document will be saved in the landscape mode. Page formatting. While creating a document, we need to add spaces between the text. We generally press the Enter key to add spaces between lines and paragraphs. MS Word provides various ways to modify and indent lines and adjust paragraph spacing. Paragraph spacing improves the readability of your document. That is, why do you edit a paragraph? The thing is, if you have everything in your document, pages of it as a single paragraph, you will not be able to read and understand every concept clearly. So what you do is you separate it into small paragraphs according to the content, so it is easy for the user to understand the contents very nicely. How to do paragraph spacing. The first thing what we have to do is we have to open the document that you need to work on. Then select the required paragraphs that you need. You have to select the paragraphs that you need from that. And then on the Home tab, you have to click the launcher and the paragraph dialog box appears. Under spacing, from the before and after spin boxes, select the required value. You can see pictures of it in your textbook. I will do a demo of it after this. So you have to click on the launcher and the paragraph dialog box comes, and under that you have to look for the spacing and you have to click on the side arrows on before and after spin boxes to get the required value. Once you reach the value you need, then you press OK and save the document. Line spacing. Line spacing is the amount of space between the lines of a text in a paragraph. The other one was the space given between paragraphs. This is between each lines of your text. You can customize the line spacing like you did for paragraph spacing too. You can even separate the lines also to make it easy for you to read. Now, we are going to discuss the steps to set the line spacing. Open the document in which you want to change the spacing. Select the text you want to format. On the Home tab, from the paragraph group, click the launcher. The paragraph dialog box appears. This is similar to the one we have seen before. That is, you have to first open the document, then you have to select the text that you want to format, then click on the Home tab, and then from the paragraph group, you have to click on the launcher. The paragraph dialog box appears. You have to click on the indent and spacing tab. Under spacing, from the line spacing drop down list, select the required value. You have to click on the spacing option, and in that you have to look for the line spacing drop down list and select the required value. And from the at spin box, select the required value that you need and click OK and save the document. There are simpler ways to do this. I will show you when I demonstrate it for you. Okay. With that, we come to the end of today's presentation. Please go through these one by one and understand the concept. Go through the pictures that are available in your textbook. I will demonstrate it for you in the next video. Thank you.